Blue Steel, 3, 2, 1, go!
Derek Zoolander, I'm with Interpol. I need your help.
She's hot. I trust her.
Someone's trying to kill the world's most beautiful people.
Oh, fudge!
Peace out, world.
All of them died with your signature look.
Zoolander 2. So Zoolander 2 is the sequel to Zoolander, directed again by Ben Stiller, and it stars Ben Stiller, Owen Wilson, Penelope Cruz, Will Ferrell, and Kristen Wiig. So Zoolander 2 takes about 15 years after the events of Zoolander 1. Basically what happens is Matilda died because the building that Derek's building for kids people that can't read good, the building was made out of rubber cement, and the rubber cement broke and the building fell down and the book crushed Matilda. And Hansel got a scar on his face. So that is what happened in the 15 years previous. So basically, Zoolander's gone into hiding, and he comes out to go into this fashion show in Rome, and he has to go with Hansel, and then a bunch of stuff happens, and Penelope Cruz from Interpol recruits Zoolander and Hansel to go and solve these murders that people are murdering celebrities for some apparent reason, and they have to go solve that. The Zoolander 2 is a comedy sequel, and generally comedy sequels never work. They just don't. The only ones that really work are the only one that really comes to mind when I think of a comedy sequel that worked is Ted 2. That being said, Zoolander 2 as a comedy sequel works better than Ted 2. Zoolander 2 is quite good. So I'll start off with the acting. The acting for Zoolander 2 is actually pretty good. Ben Stiller, he was in The Night Guard and Night at the Museum, and then he was in While We're Young, and then he probably did something else which you didn't see. And then he was in Zoolander 2. And he was pretty good. He's Zoolander again, but he's a more evolved character 15 years later. He's a little bit wiser, but he's still pretty stupid. And that's that. Hansel, Owen Wilson as Hansel, he's the same character except he's going through family issues. And really this whole movie is about family and acceptance and all that stuff. One thing that I really admire about this movie is the scope of the movie. They go from America to Italy, and it's Italy, it gives a somewhat more worldwide appeal. The movie itself is funny, but the original jokes of the movie made me laugh the hardest in the movie. But that being said, some of the jokes are actually fairly predictable. I bet you oh, they're not going to do that. They did that. So that's one flaw with the jokes. The other jokes is, if you've seen the first Zoolander, you will understand all these other references, which they literally do the same joke as they did in the first movie, just in a different context and maybe with a different outplay, but they'll still do the same joke. Also, the celebrity cameos in this movie, they contest Entourage and Jack and Jill for the most celebrity cameos. I'm not even joking. Billy Zane, his cameos in this movie, he actually plays a more prominent role than I actually thought, as well as Sting. You got all these other celebrities that just cameo in there, and they're really funny cameos, and that's good. The opening 20 minutes of Zoolander 2 and the final 15 minutes of Zoolander 2, they're clearly they're clearly the funniest and the best parts of the movie, in my opinion. The entire movie is good itself, except for this one little scene that takes place I don't know, 25 minutes in, where I'm is it gonna fall down? But those two periods of the movie, they are the best. They're the funniest parts. They're the parts that work the most, and they make references to the original, but they're funny references to the original because it's exactly what should happen. It's not like the gelato joke where you're you didn't have to do that joke, but you did it anyway. This joke's no, if you're in this situation, it's gotta be like this. The parallels to the first, they're good, and at one stage, Hansel and Zoolander, very early on in the movie, I'm talking the first time they're on screen together, they have friction, and I'm oh no, is this gonna be the very first Zoolander, where it takes basically the first 2 acts of the movie for them to be friends again? No, this movie, they kind of moved past it in about 5 minutes, and I liked that parallel to the movie. And once again, the family element of the movie was really good. There's family stuff going on with Zoolander, and there's family stuff going on with Hansel, and there's family stuff going on with basically those two characters, but they're a lot bigger family stuff, and it works really well. It fits really nicely for the movie. On to the flaws. The one major moment that for me that did not work was a scene featuring Zoolander, Hansel, and Benedict Cumberbatch. Benedict Cumberbatch is in that movie to try and be funny, but he's not really being funny. I like him better as a dramatic actor. And this movie, or Zoolander 2, also repeats a problem I had with Zoolander 1. It's that the villain did not have a very big presence at all. Like, Mugatu's the villain, they established that in the trailer, but when he appears, it's like, he appears only for the third act. Kristen Wiig is also wasted. She's, as a character and an actress, the potential she had to do, they had to do for the movie with Kristen Wiig was so much, and they did so little with it, and it was just kind of, I don't know, because Kristen Wiig, she's really funny. Here, barely funny. Like, she could have done so much more with the character, except she didn't, and that's quite disappointing. The first two acts also have way too many references to the first one, along with the jokes and stuff. They reference like, they might even reference this, like a certain scene in just passing and stuff, and they just like, they make reference to the orgies that they had in the first movie, and it's just like way too much. And my biggest problem with this movie is this one annoying character. He is so annoying. He's a hipster. You notice him immediately, but he is god annoying. Terrible. And basically, for like a good story, a comedy sequel that really worked, and you have to really respect that, with like a bad villain and some wasted potential, but overall good acting and some really funny jokes and some great cameos from celebrities, I'm going to give Zoolander 2 a 7.5 out of 10. Let me know if you have seen Zoolander 2 in the comments down below, and let me know what you thought of it. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to become one of the Platypus, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.